Well, a very good afternoon and welcome to the opening day of the Tashkent Grand Prix. We've got 5 weight categories to bring to you on this opening day, and it's a little bit of a dichotomy today. We've got strong weight categories for the men, the under 60 and under 66 kilo category, and some new names and some untested fighters in the women's weight categories, the under 48, the under 52 and the under 57 kilo weight categories. Let's start by taking a look at the top 4 seeds in each of the weight categories. And the number 1 seed in the under 60 kilo category is Dashdavar Amatufshin of Mongolia, who was a silver medalist at the World Championships back in 2013 and narrowly missed out on the selection for London. The number 2 seed is home favourite Sharafuddin Lutfilayev, won the Grand Prix back in 2013 here. Number 3 seed Otar Bestayev, beg your pardon, of Kyrgyzstan. We saw him earlier in the year when he picked up a silver medal and it's Albania. In the 66 kilo category, we've got another Mongolian, another number 1 seed here, the current Asian champion, Dovdon Altansuk. The number 2 seed is Andras Jereb of Slovenia. He was the winner a couple of weeks ago in Zagreb in that Grand Prix. The number 3 seed, Azamat Mukhanov of Kazakhstan. And the number 4 seed, Takaichi Kengo of Japan. Let's take a look at the 3 women's weights then, the top 4 seeds. The number 1 seed, Maria Pertskaya of Russia. Number 2 seed, Lilia Lotfolina of Russia. The number 3 seed is Nodira Gulova of Uzbekistan. And the number 4 seed is Mukadas Kubayeva of Uzbekistan. The Uzbeks have really done a good job in putting out 27 women in the 7 weight categories. Really done a good job there. Under 52 kilo category, number 1 seed Tina Sikic of Croatia. Number 2 seed is Igor Tashtimirova of Russia. The number 3 seed is Dildova Udadulieva of Uzbekistan. The number 4 seed is Diora Kelly Diorova of Uzbekistan. She is the current cadet world champion, only 18. So look forward to seeing her and how she gets on in this competition. Right, one more weight category, the under 57 kilo category. The number 1 seed there is Manon Durbach of Luxembourg. The number 2 seed is Anastasia Konkina of Russia. Number 3 seed is Severa Nishanbayeva of Kazakhstan. And the number 4 seed is Anna Kaziulina of Kazakhstan. A little bit of it, a note, I suppose. Anastasia Konkina and Anna Kaziulina are both 22, and they're both born in 1993, and they're both born on the 1st of December. That's the kind of thing that Hans van Essen would like. We're going to go to mat number 1 and the opening contest on mat number 1 in the under 60 kilo category. Doniyor Sultanbayev of Uzbekistan faces Azlizan Sediulayev of Kazakhstan. Sit back and enjoy the action. I can't remember whose name it was that I butchered in there. I'll have to go back and tidy that one up. I think it's probably the Uzbek in the under 52 kilo category anyway. I'll tidy that one up. Right, the opening contest in the under 60 kilo category. As ever, the choice is yours. We've got 2 mats. You can click on whichever mat you like. Yeah, there's always a really good crowd here. Uzbekistan enjoy their judo. The referee in the middle for this one is Vladimir Nutsubidze of Georgia. Did he really referee 4 Olympic finals? Incredible. Must have been on really good form. 4 of the 14 finals he took control of. Single Shido picked up by Saidueli of Kazakhstan, the Kazakh player, at a disadvantage at the moment. Caught up there slightly. Trying to work on the arm, but didn't quite come off. Two penalties picked up by the Kazakh fighter now. Saiduali. Sultan Bayev looking comfortable now. As he doesn't give up a score here. Reasonable little effort. A mix of Uchimata and Makikomi there. A combination of controlling the arms and a strong leg action normally combines to make that technique effective. It's an awkward one to bring off. Especially if you haven't got the top half of the body under control, which if you're only working on the arms is a really tricky thing to do. You need to have one arm around the back, I think, and then you've got better control. Couldn't bring off the Jujigatami there. That was Sultan Bayev attempting the Jujigatami. Two penalties against Saiduali inside the last minute. It'll be hard for the Kazakh fighter to come out of this now. He hasn't really shown the possibility of scoring, and then a weak defence there from Sultan Bayev, and all of a sudden the situation changes. And now, having been on the defensive for the last minute and a half, there's that little Uchimata Makikomi effort again. It's Sultanbayev who has to go searching for the score now. Look for the Sumigaishi there. That didn't come off. This one's gotten away from him now. Well, he looked at the scoreboard on a few occasions, saw the 2 penalties against Sedou Ali, and that did for him. He goes over again, Nabi Wazari. Terrific score as well. And in the end, manages to wrap things up. The Osai Komi is just going to rub things even further into the dirt for him. Can't move now. And that'll be it. Well, in the end, the scoreboard doesn't give a true reflection of the way that contest went. If you look back at on paper and you look at the scores, you get the feeling that Sultanbayev was soundly beaten, but in truth it was only in the last 40 seconds that Sedou Ali took things over. Kazakh fighter into round 2. Now a time when he comes up against Ashtava Amatuvshin. That's his opponent in round 2. Right, what have we got coming up next for you then? Matias Turbots of Slovenia faces Kerman Nurilayev of Uzbekistan. It's Turbots in the white judogi, Nurilayev in blue. A little bit over-ambitious, Nurilayev. Well, he was with the attempted waza, but he may have a little bit more luck on the ground. It's not the best position. Turbo's managing to fight that one off. He's 27 years old, Matias Turbots. He's struggling with that attempted Jujigatami. It's the second time that Turbots has had to defend strongly there. And the Slovenian still looking for his first Grand Prix, first IJF medal. Turbots still looking for that. Well, I thought he may have picked something up in his career. Useful little fighter. Well, it could be here then, in Tashkent, that he'll have some success. He needs to get past Nurilayev first of all to give himself any chance. Must win this one to have any chance of being around the medals. little stab at that right-sided Kojigari there. That didn't come off. And then he has a go at the Seoinage, puts his opponent briefly on his head. It doesn't come up with a score. It was a nice little entry. Couldn't quite come up with the finish, however. And he was just trying to free the legs and look for an Osai-kami, but he hasn't really got control there. So Thierry Clover, the referee from Belgium, decides not only not to give an Osai-kami, but stands them up, believing, I think quite rightly, that wasn't going anywhere. No score yet, a little over 2 minutes left to go. There's another little Kojigari, but this time it's from Nurilayev. Slightly more success with that one, unbalanced turbos and had him going backwards. And as he went backwards, he turned onto his front to avoid giving up the score. Turbos is going to have to be careful here. Oh, maybe the shimmy wasn't it. Well executed. Yep, put that on neatly. A slip from Nurilayev. Left himself open, and Turbos was able to apply that shimiwaza, from which Nurilayev had to tap out. The boat's through to the next round.
First round for men under 60 kg. In white for Russia, Islam Yashuyev. In blue for Azerbaijan, Tofik Mamadov.
Right, who we got coming up next then? Islam Yashuyev of Russia faces Tofik Mamadov of Azerbaijan. It's Yashuyev in the white judogi, Mamadov in blue. Well, the winner of this contest will face Matias Turbots of Slovenia in the second of the quarterfinals. That's what it will be. One round and then into the quarterfinals. Yashuyev in the white judogi, Mamadov in blue. I'm sure that I saw Ilgar Mushkiev in our hotel, but his name isn't down here. Could be that he was inscribed and decided to drop out, but I'm sure I've seen him around the hotel, or maybe he's come along here for the training camp or something. Mamadov with a weak right-sided Tomoenage effort. Never really troubled Yashuyev with that one. Gonna have to come up with other than that. But it's at under 66. That's why I was looking for him in the under 60 kilo category, and he's at under 66. That's why. And he won't be seeded, having gone up from 60s to 66. Should be interesting to see if he stays there. Maybe he was struggling with the weight. The referee in the middle is from Brazil. That was a nice effort from Mammadov. Yashuev not really troubled by it. He managed to get his right hand down and almost cartwheel out of it. I was talking about the referee in the middle from Brazil. He was one of the technical officials that I worked with. I'd seen him on the referee circuit before. He's not quite up to Olympic level or world championship. Just like the fighters, they have to graduate. Fighters fight their way up there. That time he does go over Yashuev. Not sure about the scoreboard operator there. He's got it on Yashuev's side. He had to tidy that up now and he'll put it against Mammadov. For me, that is Wazari. I suppose the only thing they could be looking at is, was it Wazari or was it Hansokamake for a bridge on the head by Yashuev? He'd already been threatened on that side once by Mammadov and almost come off there. Here's the effort. Yeah, you see there's the suspicion of the bridge on two occasions. It's the shape of the legs as he goes through the air. He can't do that. You see, his legs can't just twist and bend in the air without some kind of force on the ground, and the force on the ground must come from, as you can see, he's bending his back there as his left leg hits the tatami. He's still trying to bridge out of that, and that's what they're going to be looking at. For me, it's a bridge. Well, in the first instance, they've given a score, Wazari. It's nowhere to be seen on the board, but it should be for Mammadov. Quite clearly, blue is throwing white. So, if there's going to be a score, it's going to be to Mammadov. But now what they're looking at is whether that last action that we saw, beautifully shown to us by Lance Wicks, was indeed a score or an attempted bridge. That's what they're looking at. Oh, they've gone with the Wazari, and the Wazari is now on Mammadov's side. Okay. Wasn't quite enough for them to give the hand Sokumake, but at least Mammadov has come up with a score. It's given Yashuev a little bit of time to think about things now. Well, Yashuev has a little over a minute to try and pull something back here. Both fighters pick up passivity penalties, and it's Mammadov who comes in with a little Kataguruma effort. Yashuev just beginning to step up the pace here. Mammadov's going to have to be strong in the grips. He comes in with a little Morote Seonage effort, and then Sutemi was it to follow it up. 48 seconds. Plenty of time for Mammadov to have to deal with. Not so much time for Yashuev to try and make something happen. Funny, isn't it? The same amount of time is on the clock, but the two fighters look at the situation completely differently. Yeah. He's doing the right thing, though, Mammadov. He's just got enough strength left as well. He's fought this very well, the Azeri. Always moving, first to his right, then to his left. Little Sutemi was in there. Yashuev is really frustrated. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes. Yashuev has fought this really well. Did exactly what he needed to. And picks up a second penalty, this time for false attack. Little over 10 seconds left to go. Left with the Ujimata. Yeah, why not? It's no good being frustrated now. There is a way to win this. A little bit harsh with that last penalty. A third penalty. Just needs to stay upright now, and he'll take it. It's a good win from Mamadov. Tofik Mamadov. It's no good belly aching about the penalties that he picked up. He's picking those penalties up because the rules allow for him to pick up a Shido for a false attack or a step out or passivity or whatever the case is. If those rules weren't there, he wouldn't give up the penalties. Yashuev now cannot claim that he was hard done. Mamadov threw him. He threw him well. And then he did the job. Stay with us. We'll bring you more action from the opening day of competition at the Tashkent Grand Prix.
İkinci takımı 66 kilometre vazn toifasi. Oq kiyimda Qozog'iston vakili Azamat Mukanov. Ko'k kiyimda Tojikiston vakili Bahodir Halimov.
We haven't missed a great deal then. There's a minute or so left in this contest. El Turan Sayidi of Azerbaijan is up against Aybek Imashev of Kazakhstan. I would have put my money on Imashev. He's a useful fighter, the Kazakh boy. However, he trails here by Wazari with a little less than a minute left to go. He's another fighter who's going to have to pull his finger out. I'm a little bit surprised, if truth be told, about Islam Yashuev. I thought that he would have given a better account of himself, and he ended up waiting until minute number 4 before he got into it. Well, he was already a Wazari down by then. He had a bit of belly aching about the penalties that his Azeri opponent then picked up. Well, Mammadov, did what every competitor does. And he just, played the game. Yeah. And we can say a very good afternoon for the first time to Neil Adams. A good afternoon to you, Neil.
Good afternoon, Sheldon. Glad to be here again.
You haven't missed a great deal. Just a couple of interesting contests. We had Yashuev just losing out to Mammadov. I think you'd have liked that one. Tactical, but interesting. And we haven't yet started with the women's judo. And I think there's going to be a little bit of a difference there. We've got some high-quality fighters from the men's side. Some world championship medal winners. And, there's a degree of quality about the men's weight categories. We only got the 2 anyway today. We've got 3 women's weight categories, and they're in stark contrast. I think we've got a cadet world champion, and that really is about it. However, I think we're going to see some good judo from the women. I think we're going to see quite a number of big scores because we've got young fighters. They're all young guns ready to go blasting. And I think
it's a good crowd as well, isn't it?
Yeah, super. Thursday afternoon,
and they're up there. And I noticed that when I first came in because straight away
you could hear it.
Yeah, you could hear
and it's when they cheer.
Yes,
exactly. They know what's happening.
They do.
You look around.
Audience.
Yeah.
And I think, like we said the last time as well, just a couple of weeks ago, that it's good to see some fresh faces as well. And some youngsters out there. And what have we got on mat 1 here? Got young Japanese.
Takeichi Kengo of Japan faces Asadullo Tohirov of Tajikistan. There are not many Tajik fighters here, but it's Takeichi in the white judogi, Tohirov in blue. This is in the under 66 kilo category. Takeichi has already picked up a couple of Grand Prix gold medals, so this is nothing new for him.
They got a lot of depth, haven't they? Under 66 kilograms. Wow. I mean, for me, it could have been somebody else going to the Olympic Games instead of Ebenuma. You know, it was send the young one, or do you go for experience? And they went for experience. But
in the end, I don't think that they will be entirely displeased, because they're the individual scores that you look at, you know, who did this and who got that medal and whatever. But then there's the collective performance of the Japanese team, and he dropped another medal into that pot, didn't he? You know, hard to take that away. I didn't think that Ebenuma was going to win the Olympic Games.
I didn't either. And that's why I would have gone for the youngster.
Yeah,
for Abby. You know, it was just one of those things. It was a feeling I got. But then you've got this young lad here now. I mean, he's out here, like you say, he's won a couple of gold medals at this level already. Yeah. You know, they've got such depth, and they keep putting them out there.
Yeah, and this is year one in that 4-year cycle. I mean, it's laughable, really, when you think of the length of time there is to go to prepare somebody for that. And when we were looking at, it would have been 2012, after London, when we were, you know, doing the first year in that next cycle, Ebenuma was already, you know, double world champion, Olympic bronze medalist, and, you know, that's the time that you want to think, hang on a minute, maybe we want to invest in 4 years in someone else. Anyway, he got the nod, he came back with a bronze medal, all credit to him, and the team, you know, I think that they left Rio reasonably pleased with that performance, given what happened in London as well.
Well, yeah, exactly, given what happened, but also the fact that they probably expected and could have got 3, if not 4 gold medals in that men's team. But anyway,
the
doesn't always go like that, does it? Olympic Games.
The super heavyweight, I don't think that they were going to get a look at.
See how appreciative they are now. That's not actually. I think that's for the next match.
For the other match, But it was a turnover in Nervaza that the crowd were cheering as it was happening. They could see it happening. You know, there's some places that you go to when the referee calls Osai Komi is when you get the chair. They were cheering as the move was developing. So there's and it's not on one side. There's some trouble there.
Well, Takeshi was really having trouble there, and he was, he was all over him there.
If you look around, I mean, behind us, you know, we're down at one end of the competition hall, and behind us, you know, there's a whole bank of people, and then on the far side, which is as you're looking at it with the camera behind it, that's all full up already. Now it's nice when you come to a venue and they've got people in. Good job for Uzbekistan, and a good job for women's judo in Uzbekistan. 28 is the maximum number of women that the host nation can enter. 28. They put 27 in.
That's amazing.
And this is with the greatest of respect to Uzbekistan, this is a judo nation with zero history of success in women's judo. They got 27.
I don't know many countries that can put 20 plus. I really don't. You know, in some of the top countries, I'm talking about some of the top. But
well, I don't know how many were in Zagreb last week, but I don't. Well, the week before, but I don't think that they had 28.
No.
Croatia, you'd expect that because they've got, they've got some history of producing women judo, but I don't think they had 28.
Well, Takeshi on top of this one, he's ahead by that Yuko, but having a real hard job here against Tohirov of Tajikistan. He
strikes me as he's now got the Osai Komi. Yeah, they like that, don't they? That Osai Waza.
Well, it's good. It's a double lapel turn, and it makes sure it goes right the way around. It controls the upper part of the body.
You've got the left going around the top, and the right hand is underneath the body. The right hand is when he lifts his back up in an attempt to get out. You see the right hand of Takeichi under the body, and I remember that. You know, that kind of thing that would go in your back, and coaches love to do that. Yeah. You know, put the little hand in your back, and you feel that. Ooh. He wrapped him up nicely in the end.
He did.
With only 18 seconds left to go.
Yeah, no, he was made to fight for that one.
Yeah.
But that will put him through to the quarter-final stage.
See, he may be, as David McFall likes to say, a slow burner. You know, it takes a little bit of time to warm up, and then when he gets going, the flames start to fly. Well, the others will be hoping that that's not the case, but unfortunately...
A slow burner.
Yeah, that's what he calls them. That's what he calls them, slow burner. Or sometimes he describes the contests as slow burners.
Well,
you see what I mean? Look where the hand is, right underneath.
Yeah, we just saw the turn again. Here we go again. Just have a look how he readjusts that arm underneath the back. And, he pulls it right the way in. Like you say, you can feel the pressure because the arm's still underneath your back. But it pulls it in that much tighter. So good Newaza there from the Japanese. And he's through to the quarter-final to, so guaranteed 2 medal matches.
Dmitry Minkov of Belarus now faces Hojakbar Alimov of Uzbekistan. It's Minkov in the white judogi, Alimov in blue, and it doesn't matter, male or female. The chairs are coming from mat 2 now. Again, this time it's one of their women on the mat against the Russian. She trails by 2 yukas. You can see that in the the scoreboard on the top. It's the second one along there, but they're into it, you know.
No, it is. It's a knowledgeable crowd, and like you say, Thursday afternoon. We don't very often see it. You know, it's Thursday afternoon. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the actual time of the competition here in Uzbekistan. And the crowd absolutely loving it. From the very opening of the tournament, they were into the whole event.
I'm going to fill out the contest sheets whilst Neil has a look at what's happening. Minkov in the white judogi, Alimov in blue. I haven't seen Alimov before.
No, well, one of the biggest advantages, of course, having a Grand Prix, Grand Slam on home soil is that you can put 27 or 28 women and you can put 28 men in, and you can put your whole national squad in. You can blood your juniors as well. And that's what Uzbekistan are doing. Alimov here, youngster, but he's able to fight some of the seniors here at an event on home soil. So great experience for the younger ones, and then they start to sneak a couple of medals as well.
It's a good opportunity for the Uzbek women as well to take medals where they would not normally medal. You go to a Grand Prix and there's 400 fighters there. You're gonna struggle. But here at home, where the numbers aren't that great, they'll pick up medals. They can take those points then that they score when they come to European Open or an Asian Open or whatever it is, to assist them in the draw with the seeding.
Well, that's the thing about the first part, isn't it, of the 4-year cycle, you could say. The first 2 years, really, it's all about getting your world seeding or your world ranking up so that you get seeding into the next event. And then, of course, you have a 2-year run-up to the Olympic Games. Prior to the Olympics, all your points are halved and away you go then. Everything that you accumulate is going towards your world ranking and world ranking at the Olympic Games. And of course that can make a massive difference. It can make a difference of winning Olympic medals or not, because it makes sure that you're seeded against somebody that not so high up, probably in the earlier rounds. That's the theory anyway.
I think it's one that tends to work out.
Well, it means, I tell you what it means, Sheldon. It means that a lot of Olympic medals are won 2 years prior to the actual event itself. And I mean that, you still got to go to the event and win it, of course you have, but it does make a difference. We've watched a lot of great champions go out early because they've had the wrong match first.
Yeah, you could have a look at that. I think people like Iliadis and who else was there in the Brazilian in the same weight category, Thiago Camilo. They came unstuck. They came up against someone who in that last period, in that last two-year period, was really pushing. He was going to different events and winning stuff, and all of a sudden, there he was. That was a fight that you didn't want to have.
Yeah, well, and that's what I think a lot of the champions are afraid of. That's the big point is that you don't want to fight certain people.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, the warm up as well becomes very, very important, crucial, actually. Big cheer up for the other mat. All action on that one.
I'll tell you, you know, there's not often that you hear that big a cheer in round one of the under 48 kilo category, is it? You know, Uzbekistan versus Kazakhstan, but I suspect there's a little bit of, you know,
might just be.
Yeah, a little bit of an edge between those two countries.
Well, this match just coming up to the last minute. Just one Shido in it. Minka against Alimov. And, well, it's anybody's match, this. Into the last minute. We don't want to see it decided on Shidos. Are we going to see a score? Shido up there. Now he makes... Obviously, it's all the accent. It's the one now. It's a roll. It's going to have a roll. Now, Blurus. Trying to go off saves. Just saying that. But that was out and be on the net without a second left on the clock.
As if we pick a got the other 48 kilo come up. No, it's well, faces Gatasha. You will of that. Deal.
Well, then it's the Aggies and good training. They go to the fall back. Good defense. Yeah, keeping win. But she's not again. She got to me. She had quite. Well, so was it. She turned behind. Now,
back.
Well, what they've got to go into, you know, the thing is about I think the thing makes or any kind of to get you back the next. What they got
to do all round just really did take the way they didn't score. And there's another Uzbek on thrown for second. So it's Sultanov Uzbekistan second time. Not going to last long. Absolutely
executed on that.
It reminds me a little bit like
yes,
that looks wrong.
Well, you said that that's been kind of dominated to the ship. Now they're in wood, so she knows that she saw his arm over the his opportunity here. This is why the transition so important. I almost turned it. The situation with three and
stuck in. Thing that she gives up where he was. Again, much time.
Where Sagatov.
I'm going to pick it. Jubaev recognizes some other recognize. You've got feel.
Great on that, and that will take her through to the next round. She was kind of waiting for it. She almost caught her about 3 or 4 times with it.
Nice reactions. Well, we're going to stay here because we've got the quarterfinals of the under 48 kilo category, so why not? Mukadas Kubieva of Uzbekistan faces Munira Karimova of Uzbekistan. Here's a great opportunity for the Uzbeks to pick up medals. One of these is going into the semi-final.
Well, like I said earlier, you know, the great advantage of having it on home soil, you can put your juniors in and you can put your number 3s and 4s in that wouldn't normally get a chance at this kind of level.
We've got Kubieva in the white judogi, Karimova in blue.
Well, these are obviously, don't know about training partners, but they obviously train together as well. National squads, of course, they all train together. If they're in the same weight categories, often warming up together. So it'll be interesting to see just how well they know each other.
Now, there's no unusual situation here when you've got both the Uzbek fighters on and no coach. However, I haven't seen any coaches for the Uzbek women.
No, well, you remember we talked about this, and I said that sometimes I used to send some of my athletes out without a coach because sometimes they get a little bit too reliant on, but some react very well to coaching, mat side coaching, but being totally reliant all the time isn't always the best thing. So sometimes they've got to be able to stand up on their own as well. So it won't do them any harm.
Yeah.
I know that in Great Britain, happens if there's two Brits together, then you won't have a coach out there. I think a lot of the teams are the same.
Now, I know we've got this quarter-final going on here, but we're going to go across to mat number 2 to take a look at the quarter-final between Sharafuddin Lutfilayev of Uzbekistan. Now, I'm going to have to open up another page because our screen doesn't have all the information on this. So let's have a look and see who he's got.
Well, Zantiev I saw in the first round, so he had hard job of it, and I think he's got his work cut out here against Lutfilayev.
Lutfilayev in the white judogi, Shaoyantiev of Kazakhstan in blue.
Won by Wazari in the first round, and Lutfilayev had a bye into the next round, into this round.
I saw him warming up with his brother this morning.
Who, Lutfilayev?
Yeah.
Are they same weight category?
Yes. The brother, I mean, they look a lot alike, and that's what caught my eye. I had a look, and then he saw me, take a second look. He said, "Yes, my brother."
But not here, not fighting.
Yeah. No. I think he's not even a cadet yet.
Aha.
He's quite young. He may be a cadet, I suppose, 14, 15.
So one for the future.
Could very well be.
Well, Lutfilayev was part of the big build-up for the Rio de Janeiro and did a lot of the Grand Prix, Grand Slams. Yoko Otoshi there almost scored for Lutfilayev, just changing the direction. So a lot of change of direction. He's hold left-handed, but changes it to the right, or to the opposite flank, should I say, for the Yoko Otoshi. Watch him dive under that arm.
The Uzbeks won't feel that they got anything wrong, having sent... Oh, that was a nice effort. Having decided to send Diorbek Urazboyev, who picked up a bronze medal. So, he was so close.
Yeah, so close, wasn't he? It was just head-to-head a lot of the way. And that's the good thing when you've got depth in a weight category, because you can put them head-to-head. They don't like it, but as a coach, it's something that you have to do. You have to give them both the chance, for one thing. And the second thing is, it does put an edge to their performances.
Mongolia had a similar situation with who to send at 2, 3, 4 weights.
Well, I think video referee, we've gone to the video referee there just to have a look at a certain situation. I'm not sure if it was for a gripping infringement or whether that Uchimata that we did there, which was on top of the head. Yeah.
Ooh.
So it looks like he's got disqualified there, Lutfilayev. They won't like that.
No.
He doesn't know what it's for, but he did an Uchimata that was just, if you remember...
It's showing up on the big screen there. We'll get it here. Yep, absolutely. He's all over the place. Here, you can see he's on his head here. Yeah.
Well, of course, if the head goes off to one side, then it's, even if it's just turned off to one side, but that would be classed, I think, as a head dive, no matter which way
what do you think?
You look at it. Well, I think that the referees, again, you've got to have this line. People have got to know what the line is. He's looking at that now going, well, what did I do wrong? But I think people have to know that where the line is. You know, so I think it was, in some ways, it was a great call from the video referee, but it has to be the same for everybody. That's my opinion.
We're just going to move the coach along, I think.
Yeah. Well, so a little bit of controversy with that, and I'm not quite sure whether they'll know exactly what happened with that last contest and as to why it was Honsokamaki. But I think that any kind of head dive or bridge is classed as Honsokamaki, and, well, it should be Honsokamaki, not Ippon to the other person. That's one thing, but whether it was or whether it wasn't will be for the referees to discuss, and I think that they will discuss it. It'll be a great opportunity to use that as a great example. Anyway, back to this match here now. Still on the under 60 kilograms category, Bastayev against Tilavov. Tilavov of Uzbekistan in blue. Trying the Tominagi, has a little second stab at that, Tilavov. Well, drama. Quarter-final this. This is to get through to the semi-final, so working our way through all of the categories very, very quickly. Left against right, and sometimes you have to just be a little bit careful for the Sakeshi, where you just sidestep your opponent. Works both ways for the right-hander or the left-hander. Searching for the grips. They want, obviously, to dominate the grips, trying to attack off the grip this time, Bastayev. 5 minutes of hard work here, trying to dominate the grips. Well, I think Tilavov has to do something now to try and initiate the techniques. Good to see an Aggie. So no Shidos yet, both of them attacking within the 30 to 40 seconds. And a great change of direction there. A lot of these fighters, the Uzbeki, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan fighters, opting for the change of direction with the Yoko Setemiwazas. So they'll go one way for the big Uchimatas, the big Surigoshis, but then they'll drop to the other flank. Ooh, just a little bit of an Uchimata there from Bastayev. First Shido goes up to Tilavov. Well, a lot of this is about pace. Just fall behind the pace, and that's when you are likely to get Shido on the board. Well, one Shido each. Bastayev gets one as well, so it's all evens still. That 5 minutes going very, very quickly. Second Shido goes to Tilavov. A quick look over there just to have a look, see where he is with the clock. Tilavov realizing that he has to put some work in. Well, if they lose this, the loser of this fight will go down for a final repechage match, will have to win that match, and then they'll fight for third place. That's the loser. The winner of this goes through to the semi-final, and then if they win that, of course, guaranteed a medal, gold or silver. But if they lose that, they'll drop down to the other side and automatically fight for third place, the bronze medal. But they'll fight the repechage winner on the other side. What they call a double repechage. Well, this could really go anyway. Tilovov just losing by the second penalty on the board. .30 seconds left. Knows that he's got to come forwards, Tilovov. And this is where the game changes. Besteyev can't just go into defensive mode. One more Shido up there and it'll be all evens. That just might be it, actually. Might get it. So he's going to get the second Shido. And that means now that it's all evens. So by changing everything and changing the pace of the match, it means he's got to go again and possibly into the golden score situation. Well, he's starting to climb on top just at the wrong time now. And it is going to go into golden score. So any score on the board, any penalty, any throw for Yuko or more, arm lock strangle or a hold down for 10 seconds or more will win this match. Well, the crowd really getting behind them. Well, they're getting behind Tilovov anyway, and Besteyev of Kyrgyzstan. He's going to have to match him here because he's going to be attacking all the time, trying to get him that second Shido. He wants to get on with it. So attack for attack, 26 seconds in. Trying the Yoko Satemi and also the Uranagi. Now Tilovov has to attack back. Only young Tilovov, great experience for him. Even better if he gets through to a semi-final. Another Kouchigari. This time, Besteyev almost gets countered. Almost 1 minute into the golden score situation. Nice to see this crowd really getting into this. Almost counters him there. Almost takes him over, Besteyev. Now it's up to Tilovov. Tilovov this time. Wow, really know their judo. This crowd really does know it. So starting to read it, like Sheldon said, just starting to read before it even happens. They're not calling for the Shidos. I think they're just baying for Tilovov to go forwards. Great Sinagi. Whole crowd on their feet. Now he's just going to hold him. Yes, he is he? Oh, Mate called. Well, I thought that he was going to be able to carry that on then. He would only have had to hold for 10 seconds. But it's still there to win. Besteyev could still win it. Another Sianagi. It has to be full rotation. Has to break balance. Can't just drop on your hands and knees. Tilavov needs an attack. Needs another Sianagi. Ashiwaza. Now they're starting to pay for the Shido. They want Besteyev to get the Shido. Is he going to get it? Well, he still doesn't get it. It's still all evens. Sianagi again! Now then, that was very, very close. It still wasn't a Shido. It still wasn't a Yuko, should I say, but my goodness me, this is great stuff. And Besteyev doesn't want to get up here just in case he gets the Shido. The whole crowd here are absolutely gunning for it. He might just get this now. I think that Besteyev is going to get the Shido and the crowd will erupt. Tilavov will win this in golden score. 2 minutes and 17 seconds into golden score. Wait for it because the crowd will erupt. Well, he's kind of delaying things here, Besteyev. He doesn't want for this to happen. It is going to happen.
And the other thing that's good about this is zero complaint, with body posture or anything from Besteyev. He knew it was coming. He knew it was deserved. Sucked it up and took it like a man. There you go.
He did take it like a man. He knew it. But it was a great contest. It really was. I mean, we had 7 minutes. It was all action. Great stuff.
Which is in slight contrast to Lutfilayev, who was bellyaching. Him and his coach were bellyaching about the hand sokumake that they were given because they had misunderstood why the hand sokumake was given. And I'll come back to that in a second. Let's just do Andras Yereb of Slovenia. He faces Sardor Nurirayev of Uzbekistan. Yereb in the white judogi, Nurilayev in blue. And I just wanted to mention that it took a while to convince Sharafuddin Lutfilayev and his coach that they had been given the hand sokumake because he had head dived. He thought they'd given it because he had turned in his Uchimata effort, the Kazakh had gone on his head. It wasn't at all.
It's exactly what I was saying to you, that it's fine. It was a good decision, I think, for me. It was good in the present day rules, although I think that there has to be a really dividing line. There has to be a dividing line that everybody understands. And that's the problem. And I said that what they gave there, did they give the Ippon or did they give the Honsokamaki?
Honsokamaki they gave.
Well, Honsokamaki's correct. And then when we get the bridge from the Tomonagi,
why are they giving Ippon?
It's not Ippon. It's Honsokamaki.
Honsokamaki, yeah. And it's a really good point, Neil, because what you've got here is, and the question is, why do they want to give Ippon instead of hand sokumake?
Well, and and
maybe we should avoid that one.
we were very honest. We giving our opinions to the referees, and they know that it's a bit of a dodgy line, this one. So they have to get that line right, and hopefully this one will be a prime example for them to look at, because I think it was correct.
Yes,
but. I think it was correct, but they didn't, the problem was Uzbekistan coaches didn't know why. They didn't know the reasons.
And it took a little bit of convincing, at the side here. And then it dawned on him. My fighter there were two things that my fighter did here. One, he executed a poor technique. That was not Uchimata at the end, because I've never seen any examiner tell me, okay, you pass, when I've rolled on my head doing Uchimata.
No, but the point is that when you teach a particular technique, you have to teach it and execute it when you're practicing with a slight turn of the head, like we just saw there.
And there wasn't from him.
And Jereb there just doing a slight turn of the head, gets the juji as well. Great transition. He's on great form, by the way, Jereb.
Quick, wasn't he?
Absolutely.
Didn't hang about.
No, brilliant. On brilliant form. That takes him through. That's the second Ippon now in so many contests, and that puts him through to the semi-final. But he turned the head there with that Uchimata, and we'll see it in slow motion in a minute. just see how he executes it. And you have to do that. You can't go directly over the top of the head, and that's why they gave the Hansokumake earlier on.
So the Hansokumake one was for execution of poor technique, and the second thing is the safety aspect of it.
Yes.
What we don't want is, young children at home watching the technique being executed in that way and running down to the club and attempting to do it themselves. Yeah, absolutely. Just turns the head and avoids any trouble. Absolutely. We're lucky to have a good illustration here.
He just turns the head at the end there, just safekeeping, but also to get rotation.
Yes.
But also safety.
Yeah.
So you coaches, that are out there have got to teach it. With a small turn of the head, it cannot go directly over, and you cannot accept it in practice.
We're lucky to have had that illustration so quickly after what we were looking for.
I was just looking at it there.
Well done, Lance Wicks, for picking that one up. On cue. Well, I can't think of a bigger disappointment for the home crowd than having Sharafuddin Lutfilayev go out there, to be honest.
No, disappointment, because they will have been expecting gold or silver from him. They would have, and he would have as well. So that was a big mistake, but one that they'll learn from, that's for sure.
I'd gone to him in the morning, in the warm-up area, and chatted with him, because we were just talking about his brother, and a few seconds later he was steaming. Oh
well, I'm hoping that they'll use that as an example, certainly in some of the forthcoming referee commissions, and just to have a look at it. Get the dividing line. It's like having the line on the edge. You've got to know when you can step out or when you can't step out, and it has to be a dividing line that all the referees know as well.
On the mat now, Azamat Mukhanov of Kazakhstan faces Abdul Jalil Yusupov of Uzbekistan. It's Mukhanov in the white judogi, Yusupov in blue. You get the feeling that the matchups that are most contentious here are those between Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. There's a bit of bite in them. I don't mean that literally. But there's an edge to the contests between Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. And that was kind of in the background with the contest with Lutfilayev. It was almost as though, we've had this before with Kazakhstan. Anyhow, done now. Let's not kill it.
No. End of now. I think just finding out where the dividing lines are, what we're allowed to do, makes it so much easier for the fighters, coaches, and also for the referees.
Yusupov picked up a Shido there, so he joins Mukhanov. And then it just tumbles for the Kazakh fighter.
So Mukhanov through to the semi-final.
We can have a nice break as well. If you're looking, if you're watching at home and you're thinking, there's not a lot of people here and there aren't big names or anything, don't be misled by that. We've already seen some quality judo this morning, and some of the fighters that you're going to watch here over these next few days are fighters that in 2, 3, 4 years' time are going to be right there. They're going to be right there.
I remember Sarah Menezes starting off. We saw her as a junior coming through, junior world champion, and she started the 4-year cycle, and we were saying what a great potential this young girl is going to be, and then 4 years later she was Olympic champion. So it happens, so some of these guys are going to be the champions in Tokyo for sure. Certainly medalists.
On the mat now, Aygul Tashitimirova of Russia faces Gulnaza Sulyamonova. Now, there's no D in there. Let's have a look at that. Sulyamonova. Okay, that'll go. So, it's a Russian and the Uzbek on mat 2. Tashtimirova in white, Sulyamonova in blue.
Well, the Russians
Uzbek is leading here.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that the Russians normally so good with the transition through. Sulyamonova, like you said, winning this at the moment.
Tashtimirova, 23 years old, almost going over again there. She's picked up a bronze medal at the Grand Slam in Tumin earlier this year.
Well, it's Sulyamonova that is coming in left and right. The Sodi that she's coming in for, quite often, the Russian almost sliding off the opposite hip. And she just can't settle with her at all.
That's a rather silly penalty for the Russian to pick up there, undoing her own gi.
Is that what she got the sheet for? Did she?
Pulled her jacket out.
Well, as long as she hasn't got a Walkman in there, that would be an even better one, wouldn't it?
Who was it whose mobile phone dropped out of their gi? It was a German fighter.
Oh, look at that one. It's saying that. Big left Sianagi, and great to see a standing Sianagi as well.
Timirova's got her hands full here, hasn't she?
Well, you were saying about the judo. Just a couple of weeks ago in Zagreb, we saw some amazing judo. Yeah. A lot of new faces. First time we've seen them fighting head-to-heads, and certainly building up to the Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, we saw a lot of head-to-heads, and a lot of them were tired of fighting each other, weren't they?
Yeah.
So it's kind of fresh. I like it.
Strong, wasn't she? Got hold of her and roughed her up a little bit. Tashtimirova having to go to the ground, and here's a good chance now for Sulyamonova to eat up some of the clock. Minute 42 left to go. Jean-Pierre Gibert in the coach's chair. He's always animated, but I get the feeling now that with the second cycle of being in Russia, and with him being in the chair a lot more, that he's getting that little bit better contact and understanding with some of the fighters who are looking over there and taking direction from him. Oops.
That was a nice one. That's going to pull the Wazari back, is it? I thought that rolled onto the side, but anyway, I thought it rolled onto the back. It was a Yuko given, so still behind. Nice Ouchi. And I think you're right there. Jean-Pierre Gilbert has great transition as well, as I know. My best Newaza lesson came from Jean-Pierre Gilbert. He gifted me my Sangaku as well as my Jujigatami, but he did. He absolutely gifted it to me. And I think he's doing the same here with these Russians. He's giving them Newaza. Look at that transition through. It's all over.
They're struggling with the scoreboard. They wanted to. The Ippon went up, but it should have been a Wazari to the Russian. But now you've got the Ippon from the Osai Waza.
Yeah.
They struggled with the scoreboard there. Jean-Pierre, good job.
I was saying about the transition, how important the transition is. And always, I think that now with him there, that the transition for the Russians, so much better, so much smoother.
Look how quickly that contest turned round. She was Wazari down, up against it, big attacks coming from Sulyamonova, and then Tashtimirova all of a sudden, came up with a good score, Osai Komi, end of story. She'll be disappointed though, Sulyamonova. She was in a good position there. The semi-final was calling, and all of a sudden now she has to battle back through repechage.
Yeah, she'll have to win the next one to qualify for a bronze medal match.
We're still in the under 52 kilo category then, yeah? Right, who is it that we've got coming up next? Dildora Ulbaydulieva of Uzbekistan faces Aygunim Tutyakova of Kazakhstan. It's Ulbaydulieva in white, Tutyakova in blue, and this is another Uzbek-Kazakh match, which have had that little bit of flavour in them, you know.
You can see there's
local derby.
A little bit of needle, a tiny bit.
Needle, that's the word I was looking for. I didn't want to say bite, because, you don't want to...
Yeah, no love
needle,
lost.
Yeah, needle. I like
no
it.
love lost.
Needle's good, I'll go with that. Yeah.
Tutyakova, just a poke in the eye, I think, there. Ulbaydulieva, the aggressor here. She's the one that's dominating the sleeve. Tries the Sodi, but almost gets taken back. Trying for the juji. Is she going to go on to the arm? So Ulbaydulieva, the aggressor at the moment. Sianagi. Tutyakova. Semi-final is at stake here.
I just overheard the stadium announcer saying that Dovdun Altunsuk won his contest down on mat number 1. That's another fighter who can be slightly aggrieved at having missed out on a place at the Olympic Games. They decided to send Tsendoche instead, and he blew out.
Yeah,
but,
I think there's a lot of them got something to prove, haven't they? Takechi Kengo is on the other mat in his quarter-final match in the under 60 kilograms.
Sorry, I said Tsendoche, it was Davadoj.
There were three of them, weren't there? There was three, actually.
That wasn't such a bad pick, to be honest. I mean, I would have gone with Davadoj. It was in the under 60s where I think that they had a problem. They decided to go with Tsendoche, and I'd have sent Dashtova. Number 5 on the number 5, and that's after the points for the games. So Uruzboyev is ahead of him, Smetov is ahead of him, Kim Won-jin is ahead of him. You'd expect that with their results from the games. So that for me was the one to send. We missed out there.
They should have asked us.
Tutyakova. Yeah, why don't they? You know, look, we watch enough judo, don't we? Right, now we are going to go down to mat number 1. I think as soon as Lance Wicks puts his headphones on, we're going to go down to mat number 1.
I'm just interested in this one. Takechi Kengo of Japan. They've put another one out. They've got Abby at home. Abby, for me, is the one that's going to be in part of the build-up for the next games. So just remember the name. But they've got another one that they're putting out here, Takechi, and it'll be quite interesting to see what happens if he gets another good medal here. Every time he's been out there, he will have been pulling medals at Grand Prix, Grand Slam tournaments. So it will be quite interesting to see what they're thinking at under 66 kilograms.
Well, there is zero chance now of seeing Ebenuma again. That's
I think that's all over, and that's why I say that I think that certainly Kosei Inui will be concentrating on the youngsters, and he's looking for another one here. But I'm quite interested to see where he starts slotting Abby in. We haven't seen him yet.
Oh, we're still waiting for him. Takaichi is the man on that one. As Neil was saying, they're spoilt for choice there.
Well, especially at 60, 66 kilos. 60s didn't go their way either, did it? You know, it was one of those, wasn't it? It just off the boil at the wrong time. So completely dominant with the grips here, Takaichi, but no massive techniques. Saying that is a Wazari up.
That may prove enough. Wasn't this who we were talking about being a slow burner? Or?
You said it.
Yeah.
Well, almost just kind of waiting his time, isn't he? He's got good balance, Takaichi. Just riding that. Obatori Gaeshi, now possibility. So watch him go onto the belt. Has to be a little bit quicker than that if he's going to take it any further. Well, certainly Minku of Belarus hasn't made any impressions here. It's all up to him, and this is just very, very relaxed, isn't it, for Takaichi? Saving himself almost, coming up to the last minute.
Not sure what it is that has got the Belarusian slowed down, but he doesn't seem infused, does he? He's looked at the scoreboard a couple of times, but hasn't changed his method of operation.
I think he's almost glad that it's not going to end by Ippon, but I think he's going to make a mistake. I still think that Obatori Gaeshi on the ground is going to cause him problems. Takaichi, though, I just think that he just wants to save himself, semi-final, take himself through to the semi. It's going to be another penalty up here for Miku.
That's the second time that you've seen this kind of rather silly penalty. You know, you're giving stuff away here. You're just pulling the jacket away with one hand and guarding it, you know, getting penalised for it.
Yeah, he just moving around, using his feet. He'll wait for the right opportunity for that COA. That almost scored, didn't it? Takaichi here, just drifting his way through to the semi-final. Well, they're having a look to see if that was a score. I thought that Minku tried to... Yeah, he did. It was Minku that tried to dig in there for the counter-attack.
Well, as hard as the referee tried to gift it to the Japanese, it's gone the other way, so no score.
Yeah, a little bit too enthusiastic there, I think, but he dug in, so because of that, it was no score. Third penalty is going to go up to Minku of Belarus. Well, it's all over.
Oh, it's done.
So it was, I didn't realise time had gone there, but...
a damp ending, wasn't it?
Was a bit. A damp.
I mean,
Either.
Well, you look at the scoreboard, you see the guy's got a Wazari, you know, that should suggest to you that some action on your part is required, you know, and a little bit more action than we saw in the last minute.
Just a little bit of danger, yeah. Just really, it doesn't matter, does it? You've got to take the chance, and you've got to just throw caution to the wind.
He didn't seem galvanised into action, you know, with the situation. Right, Tina Sikic of Croatia faces Gulam Jumabayeva of Uzbekistan. It's Sikic in the white judogi, Jumabayeva in blue.
It's all over, is it?
Done.
Oh, that was it. Well, I thought she over-rotated there. I didn't think it was, but we'll see. They might just change it. No, they haven't. So they've given the ippon for it. It's all over before it even started. Sikic goes through.
Not hanging around. I don't think Lance got a replay of that. No, he didn't. He's shaking his head. He was caught off guard by the speed.
That's judo, isn't it? Sometimes it can happen. Split second, you're not concentrating, it can all go away. Yeah. Yes.
Right. We got another. You
can clearly put it on the point of her shoulders.
Sikic is in the semi-final, having had a first round bye and spent all of 17 seconds on the tatami.
Can't be
for the
bad.
Day.
Yeah.
And in the semi-final, good work there from
I used
young
to find
Croatian.
that it happened like that. Sometimes you'd have an easy route through. Next time it was, you had to pull everything out, and it was a hard day at the office. Well, that's the way it goes sometimes.
And Keldiyorova of Uzbekistan finishes off her opponent, left-sided there. Who we got coming up on mat number 1? The first of the semi-finals then in the under 48 kilo category. Maria Perziskaya of Russia faces Mukades Kubieva of Uzbekistan. Perziskaya in the white judogi, Kubieva in blue.
Well, first semi-final. They've got in Zagreb, and they've got one here as well, putting their youngsters out, trying to pick up early medals. Now, she onto the arm here. Kubieva of Uzbekistan just managing to defend that. Persidskaya of Russia almost onto the arm, not quite getting the control into the elbow. Every one of the Russians is going down into Newaza, going for the arm. Here she goes again. Persidskaya, is she going to go into the elbow? Not this time. Just needs that one opportunity. Oh, good Kouchigari. Persidskaya takes her down, gets the Wazari for that, and straight onto the arm. Can she straighten it? Almost does. So again, good transition from standing down to ground. Great driving Kouchi. Goes again with it. Kubieva has to come forward. She'll have to now try and pick up a score. Any kind of score will do. Being dominated, though, that sleeve of hers being dominated by the Russian. So Persidskaya, great change of direction there. All set up for the Sodi. On the left, she's also set up. She just changes direction for the Ouchi. She has good transition as well. Going to be Shido now. So there was a Yuko given as well there for Persidskaya. I wasn't sure whether they were going to give it, but just took her over onto her side. Now she's on the arm. Can she get the pressure on? She'll have to go. Just almost landed herself in a bit of trouble there. Just not quite into the elbow the way she needs to be. Dominating this match. Semi-final of the under 48 kilograms. Some good stuff here, but from Persidskaya. Good transition.
The only difficulty for Persidskaya is that the Russians have got a hatful of fighters at 48 kilos. A number of them, you know, ahead of her as well. So she's got her work cut out if she's going to take control of that particular weight category in her own country.
Well, that's why I said it's interesting when they do get their chance, when they're out there, they've got to win medals, haven't they? They have to show good, you know, and show that they can do it and perform under pressure. Such is the depth.
Dolgova is ahead of her as far as the Russians are concerned. Irina Dolgova, Natalia Kondratieva, Kristina Rumyantseva. You know, these are all fighters from her own country that are ahead of her. So she's got a bit of work to do. And she's lucky as well that Alessia Kuznetsova has moved up. She's gone to 52.
But that's what I said, you know, that's why it's interesting, just to see what the Russians are doing. And also Jean-Pierre Gilbert as well, because he's got them out there for a reason.
Sure.
You know, and very intelligent fighter, and has a look at the 4-year schedule that he's got, and he'll put people out trying to get results. So this will be a great one for her. 11 seconds, and she could possibly be in the final, guaranteed gold or silver. So it is now. She's in the final. So it's paid off, Sheldon. Definitely sending her here. And she'll pick up valuable world ranking points.
Now, if possible, we would like to go to mat number 2. Because we want to take a look at Anastasia Konkina, the Russian in the under 57 kilo category. We're looking at the semi-final here. Anastasia Konkina in the white judogi. She's up against Sevara Nishambayeva of Kazakhstan. It's Konkina in the white judogi, Nishambayeva in blue.
Left against right. And she's hooked in there, grapevining the leg. You can't grapevine the leg, you've got to attack immediately. Now, can she get the leg out? Could possibly get that leg out.
In a way, she was her own worst enemy there, because having hooked the leg in, when she got to the ground, it was going to be difficult to get it back out. And she wanted to get out because she'd had the top half of the body reasonably well wrapped up. But the minute that you start having to concentrate on another part of the body, you've got problems.
Yeah, I think it's dangerous with that big arm over the back there of Konkina. She'll have to watch out for the counter. But I think she'll redirect it in a second. She'll suddenly click on that she's going to get the counter attempt, and she'll turn it against Nishambayeva.
There was a good chance there. Couldn't get the Kosotogake hook in, but she had both arms underneath.
Just a matter of time here, just finding the direction here for Konkina.
That would have been some landing if Nishambayeva had been on the end of that.
Well, this is one of the prime examples, isn't it, of dominating the grip and dominating the contest. It's almost like the Russian is directing it. She's just got to find the right way in. There it is.
Yeah. Done.
And it was just
Yeah.
finding the line, and she did it in the end. I thought that was Ippon. Was it? It was Ippon.
Yeah.
Beautiful Uchimata, and she had a readjustment from the Uchimata. The leg was hooked in the same. This time it went central, right the way over the top.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, well, the second semi-final in the under 57 kilo category is between Manon Durbach and Anna Kaziulina. There's some symmetry between Kaziulina and Konkina, which I'll tell you about should that come up. But we may have a chance now to see Sharafuddin Lutfilayev of Uzbekistan. He faces Otar Bestayev of Kyrgyzstan. Now, Lutfilayev was the fighter given Hans Sokumake for the head dive earlier, but he's back here now to face Bestayev in the repechage contest. It's Lutfilayev in the white judo, Bestayev in blue. We'll watch this one, and hopefully we'll get a chance to see Durbach and Kaziulina in a minute in that semi-final.
I bet he turns his head for the Uchimata.
He won't be waving at me on the way out this time.
Yoko Satemi! That was close. Well, Yoko Toshi there, beautifully executed, but, Barani lands on his front.
Off camera, Neil was just being helloed or bigged up, I suppose they say, bigging up by Jean-Pierre Joubert. He came and said hello, not realising that we'd been singing his praises a few minutes earlier.
Absolutely.
Top
Great man
yeah.
as well. Say great judoka, but a true gentleman. Great man. Bestayev gets the Shido. This is all Lutfilayev at the moment. Oh, look at that. Uranagi. That's what it is. Uranagi from the front. Bit of a mixture. We tried to give it a name when we first saw it being executed, because halfway between Uchimata and Uranagi, and then somebody said, no, definitely Uranagi from the front.
It's a very he got turned there. He got turned. There's Bestayev with the hands putting Lutfilayev on his head, but that's a nice score. I think that's a score.
I think it's a score as well.
He turned him.
Well, I'm really surprised they didn't give that, because Lutfilayev committed. He almost went onto his head again as well, and they haven't given it.
Well, it can only be that we saw him being rotated, and it can only be that on the landing, no part of the scoring part of his body touches the mat. That's the only reason. Because they did have a look.
Yeah, he's having a real problem settling, isn't he, Lutfilayev? He really is. Everything seems to be going wrong for him.
I suppose the pressure of fighting at home and the expectation, the realization that you are expected to perform, from the home crowd is maybe proving a little bit too much.
Well, I think also the disappointment from the Olympic Games. Then, shall I have another?
There it was on the big screen. There was a nice replay then. They had one. You can't see it at home, but we could have described it for you. We're rather good at describing things.
Yeah.
I think that's why they pay us, isn't it?
Do you get paid?
Oh, I shouldn't have said that, should I?
No.
Well, I don't get paid a lot. Just,
No.
Expenses.
Sure.
Be careful not to get tied up here.
So left against right again, and that's why they're sidestepping each other's techniques, fully committed. And of course, if you miss, that's when you get taken over. He's looking for the Kosoto here, Bestayev.
Close. There's one thing that you're guaranteed with Lutfilayev: action.
Well, like I said, you know, now all of a sudden the realization is if he's going to go for the Olympic Games in... Oh, look at that. That was definitely... Oh,
that is flat.
Well, that was a great... well, again, sidestepping. That's what I'm saying. Left against right there. It's just using the hips, using the hands in order to sidestep, take your opponent's weight and momentum against you. So that was brilliantly taken.
Bistayev was helped to his feet by Lutfilayev. He's a lovely fight. He really is such a nice guy, Lutfilayev. But in all honesty, Bistayev would have liked a little bit longer on his back because he was still recovering from being winded. He would have rather that he didn't help him up. You know, it was one of those landings that just took the wind out of him.
Yeah.
He needed some puff after that. There you go.
Well, he really did, didn't he? Use his momentum
Lance is
against
going to
him.
give us another look at this. There's the helping hand. Come on, pal, it can't be that bad. He said to him here, he said, no, it is. You go back, I'll be there in a minute. I'll join you in a minute. Let me catch my breath.
He was at its best. He was looking for the Kosoto, and look at that.
Look at that turn right at the last second.
Well, it was the upper part of the body, wasn't it? Changed the direction and also controlling with the hands.
You know, there's a point at which you think Lutfalev's going here. He's on his way. And then he turns it. Really well done. Right. Before we get too carried away there, we've got semi-final in the under 60 kilo category. Let's just introduce the fighters properly. I know we've got the Kazakh and Uzbek on the mat. It's Baoyejan Zhaoyantayev of Kazakhstan. He faces Murkridin Tilolov of Uzbekistan. Zhaoyantayev in white, Tilolov in blue. There you go.
Sianagi there. Tilolov right the way underneath. Is he going for the juji? He is. Is he onto the arm? Not quite. Trying to get the opening. Now trying for the shimiwaza. Tilolov of Uzbekistan.
And now, here is the question. They give Ippon for this one, but they gave Hans Sokomake for the other one.
Well, I've said time and time again, I've said it to the powers to be, that it's a line we have to get for the referees and for the fighters and for the coach. Well, just before we go over to the next mat, here we go. Looks like we might be drifting over. Dashdivar on good form in this tournament so far. But of course, he's got the very lively Tubuc of Slovenia, just non-stop, just doesn't stop coming forwards. I think it'll be equally as interesting as well to see how the Mongolians play it, because they've got a lot of depth in the under 60 kilograms as well. That was close. Yoko Satemi there almost scored there for Tubuc. So Dashdivar has to do something now. Arm over the top. Needs to get onto the pace. Well, just attack there with the Tomonagi. Managed to break balance with it. Shido to Dashdavar. Second one up. So he is just off the pace at the moment. And now he's got a cross grip as well. That's not good. So one penalty goes up there to Turboch. Well, a bit of a lackluster, just fighting for the grips here, just trying to dominate the grips. Both looking for the same kind of techniques as well. Very low drop, Yoko Satemi. Tries it again, has to break balance when he does it. 2 Shidos to 1, and it's too far away now to try and hold off. He's got to go forwards all the time because he's going to have Dashdavar coming on to him. Now he's got the arm. He's got the arm here. Can he get the submission here? I think he's going to get it. Saying that, Turbo trying his best just to turn out. That arm looks to me as if it's been, well, pulled in every direction.
But not the right one. I mean, if you look at where he's got the elbow joint's way too far away from the point that we wanted to apply that arm lock.
Well, as I said before, you've got to be into the elbow. It is into the elbow to apply pressure into the elbow and then the head at the same time. So that was very, very close. To have him that close.
Sorry, but you've got to put that down to poor execution from Dashdavar. The guy's got his arm out. It's all over the place. You need to, localize it, slow it down and apply pressure in the right spot. He never did that.
No. Well, it starts at the beginning. That's where you catch it. You catch the right spot at the beginning, not at the end. Going to get a second penalty, another penalty if he's not careful for that, if he doesn't break the balance.
We'll put that down to him being overexcited.
Yeah.
Turbots is hanging on by the skin of, well, not quite the skin of his teeth, because we're inside the last minute. He's only committed 2 errors, so he's got 2 penalties up there. He can still burn 1. And he looks quite clever at this as well.
Well, there's a Wazari on the board there.
Yeah. Oh, he was and then he came in with an attack. You see, he was bent over double, but he immediately threw that little Seonage in and got away with it. That burnt up another 4 or 5 seconds.
Well, yeah, he's definitely holding off now. That's going to be a Yuko, is it? Did he get the Wazari or the Yuko there for that? Did he get a score? He didn't.
See, Dashdavar wants to keep Turbots on his feet. He's getting away with these little Satemi Wazas all the time, and that just burns time up because he's going to try and drag him in, burn the clock and everything, and Dashdavar can't stand him up.
Definitely defensive now, Sheldon. Turbo.
Oh, yeah. For the last minute.
Blocking out, just blocking out.
But Yereb has won his contest on map number 2. That's in the background here.
On great form, Yereb. Possibility of 2 Slovenians then in finals, 60 and 66. So it's all over, and Turboch goes through to the final. So it is going to be 2 Slovenians through to the finals.
Well, I'm going to go down to congratulate Turbots. Sometimes contests that you win are not pretty. You've just got to grind it out and do everything that you have to. He came up with the score. There's no taking that away from him. He scored beautifully. Dashdavar is a top draw fighter. That is a quality win. Turbots does not have an IJF medal. No Grand Prix, no Grand Slam.
He
So
we're going to ideally of Uzbek. We'll stay on this under against Minku of Belarus and under 66 kilogram repechage match. Winner of this will go through to fight for third place. Really getting through all the matches now. We've got just 5 matches to go, 4 on this particular mat, and then we have 1 semi-final on the other mat. Semi-final is happening right now, so I'm not sure if we can go over to that semi-final. I think could we go over to the semi-final on mat 2 here? Tashimarova of Russia in the under 52 kilograms against Chutikova of Kazakhstan. So the last semi-final of the under 52 kilograms. Good drops in Aggie there from Chutikova, who is in blue. And a Shido goes up to Tashimarova of Russia. I'm just saying, Sheldon, we got just this one match on mat 2, and then a few others left on mat 1, but going through them very, very quickly.
I'm glad that we didn't miss the other 52 kilo semi-final. It'll be the last contest of the day. It'll be Tina Sikic and Kelly Diorova of Uzbekistan. Now, the reason that I'm saying this is that Sikic is already into the 4-year cycle. She only wants one thing. You know, she's looking at Tokyo 2020. Kelly Diorova is the current cadet world champion. Under 52 kilos from Uzbekistan.
Well, that'll be an interesting one because it's nice to see youngsters coming through, and that's what this tournament is all about. That's what these early tournaments for qualification are all about as well.
The really good thing about this is that where the quality, you know, from ranking list and everything is, you know, you haven't got high representation in the women's event here, is one thing. You've got promise as far as Sikic is concerned, and then there's this interesting thing here where you've got a cadet world champion from Uzbekistan who's female. Now, that's the future. Uzbekistan have got to be looking at us thinking, hey, there's medals if we invest in our women's program, and you've got 27 women here.
Well, that's why I say that the big advantage is being able to put 27 out there, and certainly for her, Kelly Diorova, it will be an ideal opportunity to take a step up into the senior ranks.
I think this is going to be a nice semi-final.
Good stuff. Well, she'll be the winner of that, of course, will be fighting the winner of this, so we'll see who it's going to be.
That's really set up well. It's the last contest of the first period. All eyes will be on that map because there won't be any other judo going on. Sikic, you know, so the Croatian youngster, fit, healthy, looking to go forward. Kelly Diorova, the child, if you like, really, and the whole crowd will be behind her.
Good one to end on.
Yep.
Well, Tashimarova hasn't got into this match at all. She's just behind on attacks. 2 Shidos on the board. And I've got to say that Chutikova beaten her to the attack every time, into the last minute. Looks really out of sorts here, the Russian. She really is. Chutikova
struggling a bit now.
Well, Chutikova just really breaking the grips off there.
No,
and
something's
defending
not right.
hard. Yeah, it must be an injury. She does look out of sorts.
Yeah, she gripped her elbow there, and she's just trying to flex it, but there's some real discomfort there. 2 penalties against her, 40-odd seconds to go. You might just want to have a look at Jean-Pierre and say, sorry, pal, I'm out this one. It's not happening. No, she's gonna continue.
Well, she needs something now. Needs a score on the board.
If you are Tuitikova, you're straight on that arm, aren't you? Oh, nice little Ojigari. Russian manages to turn off that and onto her front, but she could be the Chimiwaza here.
That could be on.
Missed out.
Very, very close it was, but she's the one that's been absolutely dominating the whole match. She's been first into the attack, and she's been dominating the grips.
She's bending that left elbow now, so that's a better sign for her. Last 15 seconds. She's toughed it out, but it's done.
She wants to stand up straight away. One penalty back. Is it going to be enough? I don't think so.
Little Ojigari that she just threw in there, that may be enough. Oh!
Bad time to do that. It really was. Again, it's give the penalty at the last second. Does she deserve the penalty at the last second?
It was close, but we'll give that one a miss. Now, there's another semi-final taking place on mat number 1. We're going to rush down there to have a look at Dovdon Altonsuk of Mongolia. He faces Takaichi Kengo of Japan. It's Dovdon in the white, Judogi Takaichi in blue.
Yeah, I think Takaichi will have to up his game a little bit here. He just drifted through his last contest, didn't he? But this is going to be a little bit more urgent for him. Looking for the Obatori Gaeshi. Can he get it now? This could be a danger. Yes, it is. He's straight in. Look at that. Ties it up. That Obatori there didn't quite have the upper part, did he? But that was very, very close. Threatened that so many times in the previous match. And the Mongolian there almost made a mistake. Dovdon breathes again.
And he escaped without giving up a score.
Yeah, it was close, that was. If he'd have just given him a second to settle into that, it would have been all over. So penalty goes to Dovdon. Just small gripping infringement, I think. Now onto the arm. Can he get the arm out? That arm's out. Well, Takaichi just manages to pull it through. That was very, very close. It was. He was right on the arm. Talk about a mistake there. Your left against right. But Takaichi dominating that sleeve. Just lacks that little bit of snap to Takaichi. You can see the techniques there. Going for the pickup. Oh, tries to change the direction there, Dovdon. Obatori again. Can he get it? He might just go into the hold again. Started in, and now Osai Komi called. How many times did he threaten with that, Sheldon? He just threatened with it all the time, and now just changes it to the Kuzure Kesagatami.
It's nice to see that, because I remember people saying, "Oh, Kazuri Kezukatami with the hand on the tatami." You never see anybody holding that in competition. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, but you do, don't you? And how often do we see the Kezukatami? Just hon or a variation of the Makura, but. Yeah, like
but that really was a classic.
Classic arm out. Yeah,
took from the textbook, that one.
He's probably going for his third dan.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So he's through to the final, Takeichi, and yet again shows consistency.
Right, what have you got? We've got one repechage contest in the under 52 kilo category to bring you. That's coming up now. That's Uzbek and Kazakh matchup. That is Gulaim Jumabayeva of Uzbekistan. She faces Guldana Almukhambetova of Kazakhstan. There you go.
You can see why I leave this to you, Dave.
Jumabayeva in the white judogi, Almukhambetova in blue. There you go. We'll get used to them. They'll be rolling off our tongue shortly.
Yeah, just hope I haven't got to say Almukhambetova does Sorisora Komigoshi, but she just did.
Almukhambetova. All right.
Tries the Tomanagi directly into the Juji there. Zumambieva. Well, it's a little bit, it's a technique, isn't it, that's being used at the moment a lot by the fighters. It's an in vogue technique. Look at that standing Cianagi as well. Zumambieva right the way in there for the left Cianagi. Some unusual techniques. Just slight variations. They drop down for the Yoko Satemi, but sometimes just take it over at slightly different angles and from different grips. Well, this is anybody's match. One Shido just up there. Almukhambetova of Kazakhstan in blue. She'll have to come forwards and take the initiative.
Slightly laboured looking effort on the right side, wasn't it? Didn't get feet moving. No breaking of balance.
No, they're pushing the hips through for the Soto Makikomi, but no feet, like you said. You've got to use the feet. Different grips. It's not your traditional sleeve lapel gripping that they're coming in for the techniques. That's why they look just that little bit different.
Oh, that was a better effort. Just threatened for a while, and then Jumbayeva managing to turn as her opponent went low. Chance for the turnover now.
Well, that was close, wasn't it? She almost got her there. Coming up to the last minute. Almukhambetova is the one that's got to come forwards. Just down on that those Shidos. Now, is that going to be a score? That was very close. Just landed on her elbow, I think, there. Got taken backwards. Didn't look very good on the legs, that, did it, either? I think everybody's waiting for the Sikic
Keldyrova contest.
Keldyrova, yeah, they're all kind of waiting. You could kind of feel it, can't you? They're just waiting for their young star to come in. Just coming into the last 10 seconds. Almukhambetova is down.
Couldn't quite manage it. 2 penalties picked up by the Kazakh fighter. Gulam Jumabayeva sets up things nicely with that win to take her into a bronze medal contest. Sets it up nicely for Keldyrova. It's her turn now. Subdued applause from the home crowd, even for a home win. As Neil was saying, they're waiting for the main event. This is it then. The number 1 seed, Tina Sikic of Croatia, faces Diora Keldyrova of Uzbekistan. A 22-year-old Croatian who, as I say, came in here as the number 1 seed. 3rd place at the Grand Slam in 2 men signalled her arrival. Well, she's up against the 18-year-old Keldyrova, the current cadet world champion. It's Sikic in the white judogi, Keldyrova in blue.
Well, we often talk about whether there's any correlation between cadets and we've had a couple, haven't we, that have come through and gone through to Olympic medals from the cadets, but the correlation is from juniors to seniors. So it will be interesting because there's a lot riding on this for Keldyrova. Got a work cut out here, though, hasn't she, against Sikic?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, you've got a cadet against a senior. There's that natural strength, isn't there, that you develop when you become an adult. And at 22, a 22-year-old female is an adult. You find an 18-year-old. So, there is that potential element of just being physically stronger. There's the potential also that the Croatian has had a little bit more exposure at bigger training camps, more international exposure at a higher level, whereas, Keldyrova, I'm not saying that she's been sheltered or closeted. Is how much experience can you have as a cadet? It's a tricky one. So I think...
Well, I think you're right as well. It's a little bit of power as well, and a year can make such a difference to boys and females as well, to men and women. Tried to go onto the arm there. That was interesting. Keldyrova trying the Tominagi into the juji.
See, she reacted comfortably, Sikic there. No problem. Just dealt with that easily. Just picked up a penalty for passivity. If anything, she's just a little bit behind on attacks. Again, managed to safeguard the arm there. But, the kid was on it, wasn't she?
Well, that's again, she's done the Tominagi and really broken the balance of Sikic. Up to Sikic now. She's got to come forwards.
Yeah.
Try and dominate. There's a Sianagi this time.
If she's not careful, she'll pick up a second.
Yeah, this is a good work rate here from Keldyrova. Doing everything right from a tactical point of view. Interesting as well to see if she'll stay at 52 kilograms. Is that around the neck? I think it was across the face.
Yeah, I spoke to her about that, Sikic, and she has zero problem at 52. She's also, when you see her, she's very slim. You know, she's a thin fighter at 52, so she hasn't got the problems of a bigger or slightly heavier build. And at 52, you don't normally get that, but yeah, she's okay as far as the weight is concerned.
She's going for the arm every time here. Kadyrova onto that arm all the time. From the Tominegi, whenever she's on the ground, she's onto the arm. And I'd be interested to know how many contests she wins with that Juji, because she's on it all the time.
The tempo is wrong for Sikic. She's a second or two off the pace here every time. Kadyrova is beating her to the punch every time.
Again, she, that she's doing everything right, the young Uzbek fighter, and she's just beating her to the attack every time. She doesn't really know what to do, does she, Sikic? She knows she's losing.
See, she settles for too long. You can't wait for this to happen any longer. You've got to make something happen. You've got to, and there comes the penalty. You know, she needs to generate something. 30-odd seconds left to go, and it's the first time that she's been first, knocks her to her knees. It's the first time that she's beaten her to an attack.
Well, I'm surprised that she didn't get a penalty for it, just dropping onto her knees. And every time she does the tomoe, she just about breaks balance.
Yeah.
Just about, doesn't she? 23 seconds to go. I mean, that's another thing is that I'd like to see just a little bit more from her rather than the tomoe. She's got the juji as well, you know. Sianagi.
There you go. We go. You asked for it.
I did.
Sikic didn't, and she came closer there.
Yeah, good rotations. Just about does enough.
Nothing silly now.
10 seconds, 10 seconds and she'll be in the final. What a great medal this will be for her. Possibly going to be a Shido here for dropping.
Yeah, I'll take that with 3 seconds left to go, she says.
Crowd are going to love it. That's going to be it. First senior medal, and well deserved.
You know, there was the shape of a cadet in that contest.
It's junior judo, but I mean, but the thing is, Kadyrova, you don't mind that if it shows potential. Like I said, 12 months can make a massive, massive difference.
And that was Tina Sikic's contest to lose. Unfortunately, she did. Tactics, well, what tactics can you bring up against Kadyrova? You haven't seen her before. You hadn't been up against that particular fighter, so what could you bring to the party? Well, in something like that, you've got 4 minutes to learn. You have to learn very, very quickly. You have to learn on your feet. She didn't. And she fell behind
on attacks.
On attacks in the first minute. By the end of minute 1, it was down to Tomislav Marjanovic to tell her, hey, beat her to the attacks. Beat her to the attacks. They don't have to be good. You don't have to score. And you would have saved yourself the two Shidos.
From a tactical point of view, she did everything right. Looks a little bit like a cadet fighting seniors, but she has great spirit and great potential.
Now, the reason that Neil and I are banging on about this, and we haven't had to say this to each other here, is this is an Uzbek female who's in the fun. She's 18 years old. This is going to be a Grand Prix medal, her first IJF medal, and it bodes well for the future. Now, we often talk about imbalances, and sometimes we're talking about rules and things, but this is an inescapable fact that there is an imbalance between male judo and female judo here in Uzbekistan. Kadyrova is the kind of fighter who's going to sort that out.
One for the future.
Yeah, good one. Join us again in about an hour and a half when we'll bring you all the action from the final block. But from Neil and myself, it's bye-bye for now.
Bye for now.